This is the Marvel Legends series Gamerverse versus 2-pack featuring Psylocke and Thanos. Arguably the 2-pack that is most sought after from this first wave of versus 2-packs or Gamerverse, one that is being ridiculously sold online for just bonkers. And people are hoarding this and scalping it like crazy, which sucks. Because, well, for one, it is a Target exclusive. Good job, Hasbro, making it even more difficult for people to find, for collectors to get this. And how can they not see that collectors are going to go gaga over this, and hoarders and scalpers are just going to have a field day with this? Because it's Psylocke. I mean, come on. If they had released Psylocke in 3 different versions, maybe the people wouldn't have hoarded it too much. But people have been waiting for this version of the Jim Lee, X-Men 97, whatnot, Psylocke. And finally, Hasbro decides to do one that is very, very accurate. Fantastic sculpt from the looks of it. Great head sculpts and all that. And they make it an exclusive and a 2-pack with Thanos. I cannot applaud Hasbro enough. Good job, you guys. Making life just a little bit more difficult for collectors. I love it. Okay, so here is a look, and you see it's got the arcade Photoshop images. Very nice. I did play this game, I think, when I was younger. I don't know. I think I wasted so much money on it. I could not win in this game. Anyway, since we do not have Target here in Manila or in Asia, you got to find local hobby shops to get this. The local importer did have these, but on limited quantities, and you can probably guess as right even before they hit the shelves. They're still on the push carts. Collectors are already scalping and hoarding this set, so they never reach the shelves. If you find one on the shelf here in Manila, you are so lucky. It's like you've seen a unicorn. Anyway, I picked up this set from Babe's Children's World. If the store sounds familiar, you've probably seen me do a video of that store, like a sightings video for that store in one of my videos during the pandemic. You can check it out on my channel. It's called Babe's Children's World. So let's get these two out of packaging. So let's begin with Thanos. I believe this is the best version of this figure mode that we've gotten from Hasbro, the Marvel Legends line, because it has all the accessories of that deluxe packed Thanos minus the pins. The colors are a little bit stark gaudy, and it comes to you very strongly. These shiny shiny muted orange with the navy blue. It's very cartoony and very video game accurate. That's why a lot of purists are refusing to make this their Thanos figure. But if you haven't gotten any of the previously released Thanos, and you're not a stickler for just original canon of gold and dark blue, this is a very good Thanos to have on your shelf. He comes with that brand new head sculpt, and I thought this was actually well done. And just to give you a proper look at that really gorgeous head sculpt, look at how sick those teeth have been painted. Eyes, yes, the orange can be a little distracting, but it kind of harkens back to the old comic books. I mean, Infinity Gauntlet had him in gold and yellowy color, but like I said, if you're not a stickler for too accurate of a head sculpt, this is a beautiful, gorgeous head sculpt. I am loving this one. As far as articulation goes, it's still the same. It's got a ball jointed neck that is on a dumbbell hinge, ball joint here, ball joint at the bottom. You've got a ratcheting ab crunch, got a waist swivel. You've got shoulders that go in and out, forward and backward 360. No butterflies, unfortunately. Bicep swivel. It's got a single hinge elbow with a swivel. Wrists are the same with the hinges and swivel. The hips are on ball joints. Kick forward, backward, slightly hindered because of this soft PVC waist cape. Thigh swivel. Double hinged pinless knee joints. Does he have the boot cut? Nope, unfortunately not. Or does he? Nope, I don't think so. I don't want to ruin it. The ankles have hinges that move the feet up and down and have the rocker tilt. The figure comes with an alternate left fist to show off the Infinity Gauntlet and his fingers in a snapping motion. For comparisons, here he is with the Maximum Series Incredible Hulk. And now on to Psylocke. Oh my goodness. This is why you are paying 60 bucks for this set. This is what you're buying with that 60 bucks. And essentially Thanos is just the backdrop accessory. Sort of like the the accessory that came with this figure. It is a Psylocke figure, a very expensive one at that for 60 bucks, but I think it is well worth the price of admission because this is the best Marvel Legends Psylocke figure, or at least the best 1/12 scale Psylocke we've gotten ever since the Build-A-Figure version of Psylocke. Maybe to a certain extent the Mafex. The Mafex was just so small in scale. That's why I had to get rid of it. This one, I think, ticks all the boxes that you need for a perfect 1/12 scale Psylocke figure, and I am loving it. Apart from Wolverine and Cyclops, my two other favorite X-Men have always been Gambit and Psylocke. She just exudes a lot of sexuality with her because of her outfit. This is the Jim Lee era of Psylocke and the X-Men, the golden age of the X-Men, I think, in my opinion, the Jim Lee era. And to this day, even the X-Men 97 cartoon, they've always used the characters that Jim Lee had recreated, the X-Men characters that Jim Lee had recreated. And to this day, I think they're still the best version of the X-Men. I think it's a perfect sculpt. I think the only thing missing with the articulation are toes. We'll get to that in a while. I have some issues with the paint apps and the coloration of the figure, but other than that, I thought it was a very, very perfect Psylocke figure. Head to toe, the figure stands at about 16 centimeters tall, or about 6 1/3 inches tall. So the figure is actually pretty tall. It's well above 6 inches tall, and maybe in the future we'll have a proper Captain Britain, Betsy Braddock figure in the works. But for now, I am loving how they sculpted this figure. You can clearly see right now in the silhouette that she's got that really British hips melded with the Asian body, and wow, the skin tone looks great. I love that flesh tone that they used for this figure. It's just that a lot of the flesh pieces where the uniform meets the flesh is painted on. That's probably my biggest issue with this figure because I think the sculpt is perfect, but the paint apps could use some work. Let me show you what I mean. Look at that. You can see some of the brush strokes on her gluteal area. Look, and it's a little unsightly if you nitpick and pay close attention to it. They used a lot of blue plastic and flesh plastic for the joints, but blue plastic for the torso, the uniform, and all that. And I get that. I get that they wanted most of the blue pieces to be molded in blue plastic, but I wish they could have done a better job with the flesh paint. But don't get me wrong, I think this is the best paint work we've seen for a Marvel Legends female figure for the flesh tone, because we've seen horrible flesh paints on a lot of Marvel Legends figures that have been released in previous years, but this one is probably up there as one of the best painted figures in terms of flesh tone and paint. Let me give you a look at that head sculpt. The head sculpt is a beautiful Asian head sculpt now, which is something we were missing with the Build-A-Figure version. I think for even to a certain extent, the yellow and blue X-Men uniform Psylocke, that was okay. The closest we got to a very Asian looking one was the X-Force 5-pack Psylocke, but the sculpt was the sculpt had some limitation. This, I think, combines a lot of that. A new Asian head sculpt plus a very, very beautiful body sculpt. And she has an alternate head. This is the psionic head, that's psionic scream, and really gritty head sculpt with the flowing hair. You can snap that on and replace this one. Now you can see right here I have the psionic effect attached to her head, the alternate head, and the reason for doing so is because it is a pain to attach this effect. It's like some shades or sunglasses that you have to attach. This one's not a problem. The left side, it just plugs in on the side of her hair, but this one, the one that looks like glasses, the like typical spectacles glasses, you have to squeeze it in between the hair and the ear. You'll need some tweezers or a tool make sure you don't, it's not too sharp so that you don't cut anything, but you have to squeeze that those sunglasses bit just to get that in there, and it is a pain, I tell you now. I had to put that in. I was so afraid I'd break that ear or scratch that ear, but she's got some Elton John sunglasses for effect. So okay, I get that. And then she comes with these sort of blast effects that I'm not quite sure what these are. Now, if you play the game, I'm guessing these are the effects that appear on the screen when you're using the character. And you see here there's a grip that you put so you can attach it onto her hand. It really doesn't make sense to me, like so I guess if you want to recreate some scenes in the video game, I guess you could use this, but I think it's a pretty useless effect if you ask me. The really useful effect is her psychic knife. Her psychic knife, the full embodiment of her psychic abilities into one point. She can really, it acts like a knife to the brain, to the mind, or to the psyche, and immobilizes her opponents by just stabbing their brain with it. So I thought this was pretty cool. Not comic book accurate, because comic book accurate had those spots going on. This one is very video game accurate, I should say. You can remove that. I think this is very useful. Psychic knife. I would have appreciated maybe a psionic katana, which we've seen in the previous releases, or maybe a katana with the effect. Then that way you can hit two birds with one stone. You get the comic book effect as well as the video game effect. I don't know, but because you know, you look at this gripping hand right here. She has 5 different hands. She's got a punching hand. She's got 2 of these ninja, 2-fingered hands, and she's got a claw grabbing left fist, left hand, and her right hand is actually a gripping hand that contrary to the fist that moves in and out, this one actually moves up and down. And normally you would have that kind of articulation if she was holding a blade, a knife, or a sword, a katana. And it's a shame that they had to cut that, maybe due to budget constraints. Maybe if they saved, maybe removed one of the hands of Thanos, maybe you could have gotten a knife or a katana. So yeah, those are the accessories. So I thought it was pretty good, but I guess she's just missing that psychic katana. As far as articulation goes, the neck is on a dumbbell ball joint. You can, let me see if I can remove it without really damaging it. Okay, so ball joint up there, ball joint at the bottom. So it's a double, just a double ball joint. The hair on this sculpt kind of impedes articulation when she's moving up and sideways, but that's okay. Her torso is on a sort of pseudo ratcheting joint. It moves 360 left and right and can move slightly up and down and left and right, but it feels a little tight. That there are moments that I feel I'm going to break the joint, so I'm not pushing that joint too much. She's got a ratcheting ab crunch, the same feeling I have with this one. It's a little tight. It feels like you're going to break something, but it does move. The shoulders have butterfly hinges, albeit there's a little bit of gappage or gap when you move the arms too far back, which is about to strike. It's a bit of a shame. Wish they could have covered that a little bit more, but it's okay. Shoulders have hinges that allow you to move it in and out, forward and backward 360. She's got a bicep swivel. I love that the cut is right above the strap, so it's sort of seamless. She's got pinless double hinged elbows. Wrists have swivels and hinges, same with these ninja hands. She's got ball jointed hips. They're not drop down, but they do allow for a sort of wide range of motion. She can't really do the splits, which is a shame because she's in a lot of these wide stances, wide kicking poses in comic books. So that would have been really nice if they had allowed drop down ball joints to allow you to get her to do that. What I do like about the sculpt of these new hips is even if you have her kicking up, there's not a lot of gap between the lower gluteus and the external gluteus. So you kind of get to keep the sculpt going on, much like what they did with the new Storm figure. So, okay, very good. I do appreciate that from Hasbro. She also has a thigh swivel right here, just above the strap, much like the bicep swivel, which is great. It looks very seamless. She's got pinless double hinge knees. No boot cut though. I think it would ruin the sculpt and not really necessary if you ask me for a boot cut at this point because she already has a thigh cut. And then her ankles allow her to move the feet up and down and have the rocker tilt. With regard to the other paint apps on the figure, the pink and black pieces right here on her belt, you got to look through several on the pegs. If you see some of the pink bleed into the black, but it's a minor issue. The lipstick on her face, on her lips, the teeth painted in, the eyes, just immaculate. Beautiful, beautiful paint apps. You've got some purple highlights on her hair. I love that. So we don't need a purple variant or a brown variant or a black haired variant. You got both. You got black and purple on her hair. Very, very nice. And like I said in the beginning, the only issue for paint for me and main issue of the figure are really the flesh tone, which is already 95% great. Just a little bit more, Hasbro. You're getting there. You're getting to perfection. We've been a very, very perfect figure. For some size comparisons, here she is with Thanos, with G.I. Joe Classified Series Jinx, with fellow X-Men, X-Men 97 retro carded Rogue, with SH Figuarts Ahsoka Tano, with the Street Fighter 2 Ultra Cammy by Jada Toys. And just for fun, here she is with a couple of female Transformers figures we've got from the series Transformers Prime, first edition deluxe class RC, and from the thrilling 30 Transformers Legends by Takara Tomy deluxe class RC. So the figure is actually much bigger in scale than I previously thought, and I thought she scales very well with these 1/12 scale figures. And so some final thoughts on this Marvel Legends Psylocke and Thanos set. And arguably what you're really paying for with this set is that Psylocke figure. The Thanos, good as it may be, is merely just the accompanying piece or the diorama piece for this set, in my opinion. Is it worth the 55 or 60 bucks? I think so. Despite me being very biased with the character, she is one of my favorite X-Men characters of all time. I really think this is by far the best Psylocke figure from Hasbro that we've ever gotten. And dare I say, it could be the best 1/12 scale Psylocke figure we've had. Not including the possibility that SH Figuarts might be coming up with their own Psylocke, because they're already releasing the Cyclops Gamerverse sort of Capcom versus Marvel Cyclops figure in a few months' time. I'm pretty sure they're probably thinking about releasing a Wolverine and Psylocke as well. But I think by far this is the best 1/12 scale Psylocke figure we've gotten, like, ever. I've seen the Mafex, I've seen the previous releases, I've done reviews of the previous Psylocke figures from Marvel Legends, even with Toy Biz, and nothing compares to this figure. It's got amazing detail, very Jim Lee-like design. The articulation's great. If ever there's some improvement to be done, the cut on the thigh swivel, I think is a little bit too low. It should have been way up here, because if you swivel this one in some dynamic poses, it really just comes off as very awkward and all that. But other than that, I think it's a perfect figure. And I am going to give the set overall, and particularly this Psylocke figure, my legendary 11 out of 10. Best of luck to everybody hunting this set down. It truly is a masterpiece of a Marvel Legends figure. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think of this Marvel Legends Gamerverse Psylocke versus Thanos set. Hit that notification bell so you never miss out on any of my latest video reviews. And if it's your first time here, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.